you than anybody, but there's the best version of we can be of that. And that's how I treat the products and the candy. And that's where the whole idea of those candies and even the tamales now in our pupusas and all our dishes is if I can bring you something, I'm going to try to find the best of everything so I can bring you the best version of that to you because I think our community deserves it. At one point, I felt like we were underserved. Like, yeah, we'll just tell them anything. Our community deserves the best, you know. And like I mentioned,
when you say our community, you mean what?
I mean, now it's everybody. I mean, the demographics of our restaurant are so diverse. But at that point, I was thinking the Salvadorian, Central American community. Like nobody was giving them a very, like my mom says, un producto fino, algo, you know, something of good quality. Yes, that little candy might cost you $3.50, but we brought you the best coconut. We tried to use the best sugars to give you a good quality product because you deserve it.
So you said something that is very interesting to me, is that you read a book and the book is kind of getting the best of yourself or being the best that you can be. And that's the energy that I see in any entrepreneur, empresario, emprendedor, that energy is coming from inside. If you don't have that,
it's a little fire.
That fire, like a car needs gas to run. I mean, that's the fire that makes the difference, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. It's the little fire that makes you work hard because I'm working 10 times harder now than I worked in corporate world. For sure. I'm working 10 times more. But it doesn't sometimes feel like work. I mean, it feels like work where your body's just out because you're so tired.
You make 10 more money, 10 times more money?
And not even. Yeah, and that's my goal is to get to that 10 times more.
Right.
But it's the fact that you're working for something that you really believe in and you're passionate about.
If somebody is well, I hope somebody's listening to this conversation. What could you tell them? What's the difference between being successful and not being successful? Or doing what you want and not doing what you want?
You know, I define success as having that peace, having that happiness and in what you're doing every day. Because one thing that I don't know where I read it before, it's like your goals you should be living your goals now. Like I shouldn't be waiting to 10 years to live your goals. My goal has always been to have peace, happiness, live an honest life. And I don't know how to explain it, but success to me is doing what you have the purpose of doing in this world successfully, doing it well. So whether you're making $100 a day or $10,000 a day.
So, but that implies that you need to find out what your purpose in life is.
Yeah, what your purpose, exactly.
Because if you don't know what your purpose is, right. I mean, you are just drifting, like
exactly. What is your purpose? What is your passion? What is it that gets you up in the morning? Because especially if you want to become if you are an entrepreneur, you have to have the discipline and that fire that we talked about to get up every morning because nobody's waiting for you to check in somewhere. You're working for yourself. That check's not going to come in every 2 weeks like I was used to. You have to make that check happen.
Right. Probably you have to sign it also.
And sign it too. And it was so hard to realize that nothing was getting deposited. That was the hardest thing. My direct deposit was gone. And I was like, oh, man. Now I need to make that deposit. And that was a really big awakening.
That's awesome. So tell me, who's the person or figure beyond your family or relatives that you admire the most in the world?
There's not one figure. I think it's just people that go for what they've always wanted. I mentioned, Beriporto, Joke Magnera from Jones on 3rd. I always try to read more about them. People that have worked really hard to get there because I'm working really hard to try to get to where I am.
How many hours you work a day?
I mean, it varies. I try to take time off because one thing that I'll tell entrepreneurs, and I'll tell them this now, is you have to find balance because you're going to get burnt out real quick. And at the beginning, my mom, all of us, my sister, we were working like crazy. And you just get to a point that you just get kind of burnt out, of course, but even bitter because you're just like so tired and your body can only give you so much. So finding balance as the big learning lesson. But
balance between what?
Just like a healthy balance between your life, keeping yourself healthy, maybe working out, making sure that you get to go to a dance class or see your friends for lunch for a little bit. Because at the beginning, it's going to consume you because you're making it happen. So you want to keep going, and you want to keep going, and you want to keep going. And you need to find that balance to make things work. And then you work better, too. And then when you're at work, you're working better.
Right. So when the people, when a customer walks into the restaurant and see you smiling, they don't know what's going on behind.
Yeah, and
you
exactly.
Know, right?
And one thing that I said, when you're at work, you're working. But the thing is, when you become an entrepreneur, you're always working. One thing I told one of, I think the first person that gave us a loan, I said, and he's like, oh, I like how you're dressed. I said, well, yeah, because I'm always on. Like, you're always representing your business, whether I'm here or in my work, anywhere you're at, you're always on. When you work for yourself, that's it.
Right.
Yeah, you can't just turn off because you run into somebody and it's happening to me now. It's so funny. I run into people at the grocery store. I'm like, hey, Claudia from Mama Stella. I was like, hey, and you're always on. So you always have to make sure that, and then especially if you're trying to build a brand and if your goal is higher to do greater things, you always have to be conscious of that too.
Interesting. So if I could give you a billboard in the city close to MacArthur Park, beside, I mean, don't tell me your brand, but what could you write on it for the people to read it and get some?
I think one thing that my parents have always told me, and I think what thing that makes us successful, and it's something so simple, but it's, I think, something that my community has taught me a lot. It's just be kind. Even I remember the first, to be kind, to be respectful. Like, I think the reason that finally we have the team that we always dreamt of at work, like our team is working well, we just wish we had more employees. Staffing is a big issue. But is to treat others like you want to be treated. Is the whole thing of being the best version of yourself. It's all kind of intertwined. If I had a billboard, I would say just be kind. One of the things that my sister and myself, when we did our first ever employee hiring sheet, we said, okay, clean this, clean that, make sure that the menus are clean. These little things. At the end of every little thing we printed at the restaurant, this I remember our first ever printout, was be kind, be humble, be respectful. And I think it shows such a big difference.
So that will be your billboard.
I think so, because it has
be
made
kind,
be
humble,
be respectful.
Be respectful.
Because it makes a world of difference from your customers to the employees. It makes the circle flow nicely, flow great. And I think that's one thing that the reason that we have good employees is we treat them like our family. I'm very grateful that you're choosing to work for me, as I'm very grateful that my customers are choosing to spend their very hard-earned money on our food. Like, you can go anywhere and you're choosing to spend it to us. So I'm beyond grateful. And it's all about being that humble, respectful kind.
Do you have a habit, something that is very secret from you that helps you to be who you are in your business?
I don't think there's a secret. I think
not secret, but let's say a habit.
A habit. I like to make lists. I'm crazy about making lists. I like to write things down because I think if it goes through my hand, through literally putting it through my, like a pen and paper, I remember things better. Like I tell my employees too, I'm like, write it down, but don't just think it or text it. Write it, because if you write it, you kind of remember it better.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you associate the movement.
Yeah, the movement, it went through the way you process it in your brain.
And
I like to write things.
So it's kind of materializing your
Exactly. I'm a visual person. So if I see it, I write it. It already went through the way that I processed in my brain. It's in there.
So if you'd have the chance now to say something to the listeners.
Okay.
Our audience is, even young entrepreneurs or want to be entrepreneurs, probably older people that you just are tired of working for somebody else and they really want to do something. I know people 50 years old, 60 years old that say, you know what? Or I'm tired, I hate what I'm doing, my life is going away, I'm still doing what I don't want, or they are in the desperate need because they were fired or whatever to do something by themselves. So what could be your advice to that people?
I would say streamline, be focused. One thing that I wanted it all at the beginning. I wanted the candies, tamales, the cafe, catering. I wanted everything. And then I started to focus on just one thing. Okay. And then go step by step. Because this, it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. Think about it, like step by step by step, and write things down. And also be focused and be ready to work hard, because you're going to work very, very hard. And another thing, if I have to say it, is ask for help. At the beginning, you're very, not that proud. It's not even proud, but you think, I can do it. Ask for help and delegate. And my family has been incredibly amazing. No way would have how it happened without my family, And it was hard because being the eldest, I never really asked for help. I would just do it. I would just do things. And I still catch myself doing that sometimes. And I said, you know what? I'm going to ask this person to help me with this because I can't do it all. Or if I do, I'm going to be so burnt out. But ask for help, and you'll be surprised how many people really want to help you. and then their talents will help your talent and make it even, go further.
Right. Your place is in MacArthur Park, which is kind of the heart of Los Angeles, one of the hearts of Los Angeles because it's so big.
Yeah.
And we know that Los Angeles now is going through difficult times in terms of homeless people, displaced
Especially
people.
in our community.
Yeah, in our community, yes. And so MacArthur Park has a lot of people that actually are roaming the streets because they don't have a home or where to stay. How do you deal with these people?
Well, they're literally in front of our door. Yeah, literally in front of our door. So, we try to do like monthly meals for them or things like that. But in our community, it's very tricky. And that's another reason our hours are 10 to 6 because they start to fall asleep in front of our doors. And then our customers sometimes, it's hard for them to walk in, little things like that. But in our community, we try to work with hopefully bettering their situation. I mean, we have food, but we can't feed everybody because we also have to have strict rules because it has happened where there's been some trouble with that. But we try to donate to groups that feed the homeless in our area. We went out with them to feed the homeless in our area, and we try to do something more on a ongoing basis to try to see if we can feed them a little tamale or a burrito. We do, tamales, burritos, things like that.
So what's the biggest challenge you have at this point in your business?
The biggest challenge is, and I mentioned it briefly before, is staffing. Realistically, if you want to know the truth, it's staffing. It's really hard to find staff.
Why?
I don't know.
Is it people looking for a job?
Yeah, and it's funny. Like I talked with other restaurant owners, food business owners, and they all say the same thing. It's staffing. It's hard to find people that you can trust, that work hard, just because you want people to work just as hard as you,
right?
Which is also difficult. But I've learned that in motivating them, and I mean, I get in the kitchen with my employees. If we have, we're all equal at that restaurant. We're all equal, but I don't know. It's staffing. Staffing is a big issue for us, and because I guess we're growing, maybe it's a good thing that I need more staff.
Yeah.
And just finding the right staff. And then other than that, it's just time. More time. I wish the day had more hours so we can accomplish more.
Yeah, Claudia. So what a pleasure talking to you. I see a young entrepreneur and you came from El Salvador, because of the war.
Yeah.
And then you had to learn English. Yeah, so you had to go through bullying. Yeah. But you had a dream. You had like a star, like guiding you. Yeah. And that's beautiful, and to see you, well, the people that follow this podcast is going to be able to see her because we're going to post her picture as a cover for this. And it is very interesting. You are an inspiring person.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure.
Life story is so... inspiring, actually.
Yeah, if anybody has questions, stop by the cafe. We do get people like that coming in because I like to be here, like I mentioned. The word is realistic.
Many people trying to open restaurants, isn't it?
Yeah. Food business is growing.
Food business
and we have a lot of, we focus a lot on the vegan community, so we have a lot of...
But the food business, I mean, kind of we're closing and then we are opening up again.
Yeah.
But the food business is what? What kind of margins you have in the food business?
Oh, it's tough because people think, I can sell this burrito for $9. But I'm thinking, oh my God, the burrito took, how much rent, insurance, work.
You have to add up all that stuff.
Things that go behind that.
So the price
food
structure.
Food just seems easy because it's, you can go buy it, make it, sell it. Very easy. There's, but it's just a lot more to it that I've learned. My first year was a lot of learning. So
you have to include all these factors in the price.
Yes.
So and so it's not easy. At the end, probably what you're talking about, 20%?
I was going to say 20%. Yeah,
20%.
About a 20% margin. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Profit.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you have to, profit to your pocket or profit to pay.
Exactly. Pay, reinvest. Reinvesting is always a big thing.
So the margin in the money that you take home is not 20%.
No, it's not much. And you just have to keep looking at the bigger picture so that you do, and you think of volume and you think of growth. Where am I going to be in 5 years? Where is our product going to be in 10 years?
A lot of saving and reinvesting.
Yes. And that's what I mentioned.
If you see a beautiful car, don't buy it at the moment. Correct?
I'm always think about how this is going to affect your bottom line at the end of the month.
So it's a discipline.
It's discipline, yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, discipline, hard work, passion, because you are gonna, you know, you have to have that fire that wakes you up every morning to get you going.